You're listening to the AstroMommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the AstroMommy community. I hope you enjoyed today's horoscope and card reading. If you would like to support the AstroMommy Newsletter, there are several ways to do so. Subscribe on Substack, share it with a friend, schedule a reading, check out my family's Etsy shop, Metaphysical Flamingo, or just leave a tip. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. Prepare for the weekend. Truth bombs are coming. Daily Horoscope for Friday, June 9th, 2023. Good morning, friends. This weekend we have some big shifts. The moon will make her third quarter square, her third quarter phase to the sun. Pluto ingresses back into Capricorn, where Mercury will trine him from Taurus right before Mercury ingresses into his home sign of Gemini. And Venus begins her square to Jupiter, which will actually be a few months long because of her retrograde in Leo. So this weekend is a huge activation point of all these energies. We're going to go over briefly what these mean in today's horoscope for those of you on the free tier, so that if you don't normally have access to the paid weekend reports, you are at least a bit prepared. I will go into these transits more deeply in the weekend forecast because that is when they are perfecting. Okay, let's get into the astrology. 4 shifts are happening this weekend. First, on Saturday at 3:31 p.m. Eastern Time, the moon will be in Pisces and will square the sun in Gemini, her third quarter phase. This is a crisis point that represents a time when what we believe to be true is challenged by the facts and the data of what is actually true. It's a huge test, especially since the moon has already met up with Saturn on Friday, sort of locking in her beliefs, and now they are being challenged. Second, on Sunday, June 11th at 5:45 a.m. Eastern Time, Pluto ingresses back into the sign of Capricorn, and by 6:25 he is being hit by Mercury's ray, forming a trine from Taurus to Capricorn. Mercury trine Pluto means that we're going to have some major truth bombs erupting over the weekend. The truth will come out, there's no stopping it. People will be wanting to enter back into old structures and old systems with Pluto going back into Capricorn, but they are not the same. They have been forever changed, and so it's like going back to your hometown and realizing that they changed this road and that mom and pop burger joint is gone, and they re-landscaped the park downtown, and it just feels and looks different. So it's a little bit weird, right? Third, Mercury ingresses into his home sign of Gemini on June 11th at 6:26 a.m. Eastern Time, 1 minute after perfecting the trine to Pluto. So this information, news, messages, and communications are coming in super fast. This is like the speed of light fast. Mercury has been moving pretty slowly through Taurus, this fixed Earth space, and he had his retrograde there. So he had to pick up a lot of information and reevaluate it. Once in Gemini, Mercury is able to bring his message out loudly and clearly. He has nothing in his way until he squares Saturn, which won't happen until June 15th. So this weekend, he can shout out all his revelations from the rooftops, and it's up to us to listen carefully to the winged messenger's report. Fourth, Venus in Leo makes her first out of 3 squares to Jupiter in Taurus. I will talk about this transit in more depth in the weekend report, but what you need to know today is that this weekend, this square energy between the 2 benefics, Jupiter and Venus, is being activated, and they will stay in this energy until mid-September, so this will be felt all summer long. Jupiter in Taurus wants to bring in material wealth, happiness, and prosperity, and Venus in Leo wants the glamorous and royal life. In Hellenistic astrology, the square aspect is of the nature of Mars, so we're dealing with taking action, being aggressive, and willing to fight for what we believe and what we value. This could be positive because, as I said, these are the 2 benefics, but in the square aspect, it represents something challenging taking place. So those are the 4 major transits that are happening this weekend that you need to prepare yourself for. Now let's get into the play-by-play for Friday. On Friday, the moon finished off her time in Aquarius really early in the morning with a square to Mercury in Taurus. So this is some stress in communicating or some tensions in our environment that we either felt late Thursday night or early Friday morning. In addition to this more external friction in our communications late on Thursday or early Friday, underlying this is a little-known aspect called an antitia between Mercury and Venus that acts like a hidden conjunction. Mercury and Venus in a conjunction speaks to easy and pleasurable communication communications, creative endeavors involving writing, music, poetry, and the arts in general, and pleasant travel experiences. So underneath this moon square Mercury, which may cause some tension in our conversations, there is the desire to be positive, loving, and imaginative. I think this will make Thursday night into Friday morning a good one. It makes me think that although there may be miscommunication or clunky connections, the parties involved will want to be peaceful and loving, so they will agree to disagree or make a rain check to connect at another time. At 6:13 a.m. Eastern Time, the moon ingresses into Pisces. The moon in Pisces is a deep and watery place, an estuary of the heart, where the light and dark mix, the religious and spiritual intermingle with the shadow sides of ourselves, and the pain of devotion. Pisces is a longing place where we yearn to merge with the divine or with others, and we seek out opportunities to do so. That's why Pisces is often associated with drugs, alcohol, and addictions. The modern ruler being Neptune, representing escapism and disillusionment, and the ancient ruler being Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, and redemption, but also overindulgence. Pisces strives for feeling one with the universe through whatever means it can, be them healthy or unhealthy. I often say that when the moon is in Pisces, it's time to take a walk on the bottom of the emotion ocean, a place where we feel things so deeply it's hard to know where our own feelings and the feelings of the whole entire universe end and begin. So this weekend, we are there, sitting at the bottom of the emotion ocean, looking up at the circle of light on the surface of the water, thinking very deeply about everything and nothing all at once. It can be a meditative space. The Pisces moon's first transits are positive aspects to the nodes. This is good, as this means that things may feel easier rather than harder. We may have hope that we can make it through this Pisces moon period unscathed. And with the Antisha between Mercury and Venus still in effect until mid-morning, I think it is indeed possible to smooth over anything that may come up thus far. At 12:40 p.m. Eastern Time, the moon forms a quincunx to Venus in Leo, and it's like we are separating ourselves from the royal court, for emotionally we feel in touch with the divine, unattached to our ego or the material world. For a moment, we are outside the castle, looking in, but it's not from a place of longing, rather it's from a place of peaceful acceptance and surrender. Then, an hour later, our ego selves creep back in as the moon forms a semi-square to Chiron in Aries, and we may feel a little hurt that we are outside the castle. Don't we deserve to be inside with the others? Doubts and fears about our identity wounds may surface like a small wave bringing up a piece of trash that we need to remove. So remove it and move on. Don't dwell. In the afternoon, the moon in Pisces perfects a sextile to Jupiter in Taurus, indicating a nice opportunity that may present itself that feels in alignment with our higher purpose and beliefs. An invitation to join the group in the castle, maybe. In the early evening, Mercury in Taurus forms a sextile to Neptune in Pisces, and the moon conjoins Saturn in Pisces, all within an hour of each other between 5 and 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Mercury and Neptune in a harmonious sextile could symbolize a period of heightened intuition or precognition, messages coming in that provide clarity and valuable insight, or a feeling of alignment with our environment. The cushy armchairs in the Great Hall are comfortable and you feel at ease. The moon and Saturn in conjunction can be hard emotionally, but sometimes stabilizing. Either way, when the moon and Saturn meet, we are feeling serious feelings, usually not the over-optimistic or joyful type, but more sober and stoic in nature. Back to our little castle analogy, you feel good that you are within the safety of the castle walls, but internally you still feel like an outsider. We could also feel the heavy pressure of Saturn weighing on our minds, hearts, and intuition, like a cosmic hand resting on our shoulder, holding us back. The reality of our limitations becomes clear, and this could be saddening or freeing. The way a structure can create boundaries that are helpful and at the same time restrictive, like putting your baby in a playpen so you can do the dishes. It's helpful for mom, but the child doesn't always like being contained. Saturn is the last planet that we can see with the naked eye, and so he marks the space in the universe between the tangible and the imaginary, literally dividing what we can see and what we can't. It is this division that sometimes can feel so painful, especially in Pisces, where the moon doesn't want any boundaries because the desire to merge with the all is incredibly strong. We are in the castle, yes, but we still feel separate, alone, and isolated. We may feel lonely on Friday night, even when sitting in a room filled with people. Let's move on to the card for the day. What is the guidance for today? Ace of Swords. On this card, we see a hand emerging from a cloud, holding a double-edged sword. At the top of the sword is a crown and foliage draping out of the sides, representing success and triumph. In the background, there are mountains, which indicate the possibility of a bumpy road ahead. The Ace of Swords represents a new beginning. Since the swords are symbolic of communication, thoughts, and intellect, this could be a new way of thinking, a new way of communicating, or a new idea that comes to you. The double-edged sword represents that whatever you are thinking about cuts both ways, meaning that it will affect an external situation as well as an internal one. So as the card for the day, this symbolizes having a mental breakthrough, getting clear about something, or starting a new conversation with someone about a topic that's been on your mind. Let me know if this reading resonates with you in the comments. I hope this is helpful. Until tomorrow, AstroMommy.
Thank you for reading or listening to the Daily Horoscope. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. Today's card was pulled from the Morgan-Greer Deck, available on Amazon. If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the AstroMommy Newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the AstroMommy Newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmelliance, feeling like you know secret language, biophilia, crying tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.